Okay, so where were we up to over here? Um, so the Gemara says uh, that there is no disagreement between Rabbi Yehuda and the Tanakama. Everybody agrees that Bishel Aliyah is Asur, and that's why he told his sons that they should not allow. That's why he told them that they should have not allowed it, and an Aliyah ladder is also. Frag die Gemara mimai. How do you know this? How do we know this? And the Gemara answers b'dikotoni, melichin es hasulam b'shoivach l'shoivach. Because it says that you lead the ladder from one nest to the other nest. Leading it from one nest to the other nest implies that the ladder that was there was was a nest of a ladder of a nest, because otherwise it wouldn't be by the shoivach. The fact that it says melichin es hasulam mishoivach l'shoivach, that you can lead the sulam from one nest to the other nest, right? So what kind of a ladder is there? It's a nest of a ladder of a shoivach. So he says like this: Mimai midikotoni. The Milsa the Tanakama, in the words of the Tanakama, it says mishoivach l'shoivach, from one nest to the other nest. And Almo, so we see that the Sulamam Yuchel l'shoivchim koi, that we're talking about a ladder which is designated for nests. That's why it is prohibited to move it. That's why you can move it, but it almost implies that aliyah not. If you're going to say that the argument is, I mean, whether it's to return or to take, but if we're talking about what kind of ladder, a ladder of an aliyah, so why does it have to say that they're leading the ladder from one nest to the other nest? That you're bringing a ladder to, that would be meaning you're taking a ladder from the aliyah, a regular ladder, and you're bringing it to the nest. Therefore, we must say, that only if it is of a nest, then you can move it, but not if it's a regular ladder. Basically, the scenario that he gave in the case of Tanakama, he says that the machloikis is only to bring it back mishoivach l'shoivach. Everybody agrees what he says. Meidim b'shamay b'silil shemelichin es hashoyisulah mishoivach l'shoivach. So he's not saying to you that you're going to take a ladder to the shoivach. He says a ladder from one shoivach to the other. That means that we're talking about a shoivach ladder. So that implies that it's only a shoivach ladder, not an aliyah ladder. If it will enter your mind that the disagreement is about a ladder, a regular ladder, when we're saying that you're leading this ladder from one nest to the other one, you should say that you're leading the sulam to the shevach, not from one shevach to the other one. Must mean shall shevach in shall aliyah loy, that you can only move the shevach ladder and not an aliyah ladder. That's how he knows that Rabbi Yehuda is not disagreeing on the Tanakama, and the Tanakama also only allows a shevach ladder, but not an aliyah ladder at all. So the Gemara wants to know v'yidoch, but what about the sons of Rabbi Chia? Why didn't they know that it's asur? Because it says. So their argument is mikatoni sulam shel shevach. It doesn't say the ladder was the shevach. It says to move it from one shevach to the other. It's not talking about what kind of a ladder. That's your assumption that it's in a ladder of a shevach. They say mikatoni sulam shel shevach. The nehavi mashma, so that it would mean shel shevach. Mishevach l'shevach katoni. It says that from one shevach to the other shevach. We're really talking about a regular ladder. So, umimenu l'kabod rebus hashmi'inun. He's teaching us a novelty that the elichenu maliyah l'shoivach rishon umimenu l'kam shekum. So how come? Because the Rashi says, so how come he's saying carrying it from one shoivach to the other shoivach? Why doesn't he just say carrying it to the shoivach? Because he's telling you a new novelty. Not only that you take it from aliyah to the shoivach, first shoivach, and from there you can carry to many shoivach. Okay, so basically, we don't have an absolute proof from the wording of the Tanakama to say that an aliyah ladder was no good. Although Rabbi Chaim himself thinks that there is enough proof, because he said, otherwise from shevach l'shevach implies that it's a ladder of a shevach, not a ladder of an aliyah. And they're saying, no, it means a ladder of an aliyah. And instead of saying it, bringing it to the shevach, you're saying that you can even bring it to the first shevach, and from there, from shevach to shevach. This is one version of the story and the discussion that took place between the Rabbi Chia and his sons. There's another version what took place with it. Others say that what they told him was, Hatui sulam shel aliyah bali yadenu v'yitarnuha. What came to us was not moving a ladder, it was to tilt a ladder. Whether you're allowed to move an aliyah ladder. See, before, the issue was moving b'chlal an aliyah ladder, and Rabbi Chia said he's not allowed to move an aliyah ladder at all, and his son thought that it's okay. But in this case, they weren't talking about moving the aliyah ladder, they were talking about tilting the aliyah ladder. So Rashi, Hatui sulam shel aliyah, to move the sulam. So he says like this. He has brought it to the shevach from the daytime. So there wasn't an issue about bringing it to the shevach, even if we're not going to allow to do that. But this wasn't the issue. He brought that ladder there from the daytime, so he's not moving it. But now he wants to move it from one window to the other window. Can he move it? Can he move an aliyah ladder? And we said yes. We came that case and we said we permitted it.
I thought we didn't permit
it. They're saying, hold on one second. They're saying, let's just see the discussion here. First, they're just telling you what the case that came before them, that they pulled the ladder of the aliyah. They came that case, and the issue was It wasn't about moving an aliyah ladder. It was about tilting it from one window to the other window. And that was the question that came before them. They said it was okay. Rashi, okay, the Amar Lohem. So Rabbi Chia again says to his son, this is this version. Tzu ve'asru mashi yitartav, go ahead, prohibit that which you have permitted. So the Gemara says, Inhu Savor, what was their opinion? Why did they permit it? Mai Osar Tanakama, that what was prohibited by the Tanakama of Rabbi Doisa, Duhu Rabbi Yehuda. He uses the word Tanakama, but this is Rabbi Yehuda. He said, Omar besulam shalaliya osur lohilich. He said an attic of an aliyah, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to carry there. So on that aliyah ladder, which Rabbi Yehuda says that you're not allowed to lead, Rabbi Doisa is disagreeing. Rabbi Doisa milhatis. So even though Rabbi Doisa doesn't allow to move it like Rabbi Yehuda, but at least he will allow to tilt the ladder of the aliyah, because Rabbi Doisa is the next opinion after Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Doisa came to say that you could tilt the ladder. So which ladder is he talking about? The ladder that Rabbi Yehuda said that it was usher. He says you can't, on a aliyah ladder, you can't tilt, you can't do anything with it. And they said, yes, you can tilt it. That's what they came to disagree. Koshori Rabbi Doisa, that was where Rabbi Doisa is permitting. Belohi, but that's not true. By the Koshori Tanakamo, what they're coming to say that you can do tilting is not talking about the aliyah ladder. He is talking about the regular ladder. Which means he came actually to be machmir on what the Tanakama said. First of all, we're not talking here about an aliyah ladder. We're talking about a shoivach ladder. According to the Tanakama, you are allowed to move a shoivach ladder because that's for the purpose of Simchas Yontiv. You can move it regardless. You can move it to the shoivach. The whole issue was to return it. And Rabbi Doisa is coming to disagree with the Tanakam. He's saying, you're allowing to move a ladder. I'm not going to allow to move a ladder. I'm only going to allow to tilt it. He's not coming to make it more lenient on a aliyah ladder, but he's making more chomer a shevach ladder. V'loi, by the koshori Tanakama. This that the Tanakama came to permit the hainu shel shoivach lahoilich. He allows a shoivach ladder to lead it. It says Simchas Yontiv. He says everybody says you can do it. Ka'osa Rabbi Doisa says no, it's prohibited. Also lemeimar haylocha asur hatoya shoiri. Over here, take. I disagree with the Tanakama, and you're not allowed to lead. But the Atoya, I'll agree. He didn't talk at all about Aliyah. So therefore, Rabbi Doisa did not allow an Aliyah ladder to be tilted according to the way Rabbi Chia teaches it. Aliyah didn't talk about it. He allowed a shoivach ladder only to be tilted and not to be carried, against the opinion of the Tanakama who allows to carry it a shoivach ladder. I think a shoivach Tanakama also Rabbi Doisa. So he asked it. So therefore, Rabbi Chia didn't like the ruling of his sons who permitted the tilting of the ladder, because nobody permits it. The fact that Rabbi Doisa says you're allowed to tilt it was not about an aliyah ladder. That was only about a shoivach ladder. And the case over there was an aliyah ladder. And therefore, he told them that they were wrong. The aliyah ladder, you were not even allowed to tilt it. Okay. So now we'll go back to the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Avo Mateu, Mechalin Lechalin. You can move it from one window to the other window. So who is more strict? Mateu Mechal. The Mishnah says that you cannot. We have a machloikis whether you can move the shoivach. We can move the ladder, but from window to window, it's okay. But I'm not sure why the Gemara brings this as a heading. But the main thing is, who Beis Shammai is strict, and he says you cannot move the ladder, and Beis Hillel is lenient, and they said you could move the ladder. Zog the Gemara, Avo ba'almo gabe simchas yontev. So we see when it comes to join yontev, Beis Shammai lechumro, Beis Hillel lekula. Beis Shammai is stringent, says you can't move the ladder. You want to get the birds. And Beis Hillel allows you. Beis Shammai says you can't get the birds. You can't move the ladder. In any case, however you want to interpret it, but our Mishnah is talking about a ladder of a shevach, not a ladder of an aliyah. But even a ladder of a shevach, Beis Shammai doesn't allow, and Beis Hillel allows you. It's a question whether we're talking about, you can tell about the shevach, but so the Gemara says Uribinu. We find in another Mishnah, in the beginning of the Perek also, of this, that Beis Shammai is more stricter. Beis Shammai is lenient, and Beis Hillel is the strict one. Let's take the first Mishnah. It says in the Mishnah, "Hashoichet chaya v'oif b'yom tov." One who shechs a chaya and oif on yom tov. And what's the issue? The issue is that you need to cover the blood of the chaya and the bird when you shecht them. So what do you do if you shecht it? Beis Shammai emrim. Beis Shammai say yachper bedeker v'yechasa, that you should dig with the shovel and cover in order for you to have a good fresh bird, fresh animal on Yom Tov. Go ahead, and you need to fulfill the mitzvah of kisui dam be'ofer. You don't have any ready-made. You can go ahead and dig with the shovel and cover. Beis Hillel say, Lo yachpe, lo yishchoy, don't shecht. Elim ken ha'oyo lo offer mucha mi'bodyom, unless you have ready-made offer to cover it up. So what do we see over here? And according to Beis Hillel, he's strict. He won't allow you, even though you want to shecht the animals so that you have, or the birds, so you have what to eat for fresh on Yom Tov. He doesn't allow you. So we see that even those for Yom Tov, Beis Hillel is machmir and Beis Shammai is mekel. And over here, when it comes to the bird nest, Beis Shammai is more strict and Beis Hillel is lenient. What's going on? So Rabbi Yochanan answers, B'chlefes hashita, that we have to, in our Gemara, we have to make Beis Shammai the one who is Mekel, and Beis Hillel is Machmir. There's a mix-up in the view. B'chlefes hashita. Kan huchlefos shitosam. Their view has been mixed up. exchanged for the wrong one. V'tzorich lapir divreim, and we need to turn the words around. So basically, that Beis Shammai will allow to move the ladder, and Beis Hillel will not allow. V'tzorich lapir divreim, we have to switch. And the Gemara says, Mimai. So the Gemara says, okay, seems like an easy way out. You have a contradiction. You have, in one case, it seems like Beis Hillel. In our case, it seems like the Beis Hillel is Mekel. The beginning of the Mishnah, Beis Hillel is Machmer. So the Gemara says, change it, that Beis Hillel is Machmer here too. He's the one that doesn't allow, Mishmei does allow. It's an easy way out. But the Gemara says, Mimai. How do you know this? Why do you say, Mimai the Muchlefes? How do you know that this is switched around? Umay kashile Rabbi Yochanan. What's Rabbi Yochanan's real question? Dilmo taimayu de Beis Shammai hosom. Maybe the reason why Beis Shammai say over there that you're allowed to do it, mishum diikot deker notes velekot tzad isur. Over there is talking about, as the Gemara explained, that there was already a shovel in the ground, so you're not really building because it's in there already. All what you're doing is you're removing it, so it's not a malacha, as we learned before in the Gemara. So according to Beis Shammai, the reason why he says in the Mishnah over there that it's okay because there's no problem over there. It's not like they're lenient. It's not like Beis Shammai is lenient and doesn't care about Yom Tov. Beis Shammai cares a lot about Yom Tov, but over there, it's not because Beis Shammai cares about Yom Tov, and that's why he's allowing it for you. And your question over here is by us, Beis Shammai doesn't care about Yom Tov. No, over there it's not because Beis Shammai cares about Yom Tov. Over there is because Beit Shammai has no problem with it. He's not doing anything. So that's okay. Because Dilma, ad kan loy kamri Beit Shammai hosom Elohei chadi ikadeker notes. Over there is already a shovel stuck in. Avol hei chadlekadeker notes. But if it's a case where there is no shovel stuck in the ground, he would not allow it. There's even a side of a hint of digging. Even there should be a little digging. They would not allow. So in other words, they're not, if there's any problem, Beis Shammai don't care about Yom Tov that you're not going to have for Yom Tov. Don't do it if there's a problem. So, even if you're going to be talking about there is sand that is loose sand, which is as if it's dug already, he would not allow. Only when there is no issue at all. But if there is no shovel in there, and even though there is no real problem, but just a hint of a problem, he wouldn't allow. So he also doesn't allow it either. Why? Because moving a ladder has an issue. Because we have here suspicion. People will say this guy is going to fix his roof. He's going to plaster his roof. So Beis Shammai would be pretty consistent. Over there, he allowing you because there is really no problem at all. If there was a problem over there, Itaka wouldn't allow you either. Only because you have a shovel in there, that's why he allows you. But in our case, there is a little bit of a problem. So therefore, he doesn't allow you to move the ladder. The inami, or you can go the other way also, the other way around. At kan loy kamri Beis Hillel hocho. The only reason Beis Hillel allow you over here, they have no problem over here in our case, because the nest, which is on top of the ladder designated for the shayvach, proves there's no problem here at all. What's the problem moving the ladder? Everybody sees it's a shayvach ladder. Avol hosam loy, but over there, they don't allow you to, even though there is no, the shovel is in there, there's no digging, it's already dug. But the Gazri Mishum Ketisha, because they worry maybe you're going to come to grinding, there'll be clunks of air, of sand, and you'll dig it. Dilmazim the boy Ketisha. So therefore, these cases are not problematic because in both cases, first of all, we can say that Beit Shammai has no problem when it comes to um, a shovel in the earth, and he allows, not because he cares about Yontif, because he allows that. And on the other hand, we can say that Beis Hillel doesn't allow here because he's worried about Ketisha, that you might come to. Over there, he doesn't allow because of Ketisha, but here he says there's not a problem. And the Gemara will continue, Eloi Kashya, from other places. We don't have to change it because of this place here, because this place is taka not problematic. The problem would be other Mishnahs, as the Gemara is going to continue to bring various different places where Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel disagree, which seems that Beis Hillel is more concerned about Yom Tov than Beis Shammai, and over here in our case, Beis Shammai is not allowing, and Beis Hillel is allowing, so that Beis Hillel is more lenient, as we'll continue. Okay, we'll leave this for next week, and hopefully we'll be able to push through
Terrific.
without any accidents.
No problem. Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Everybody have a good night. Thank
Good
you.
night.